Gentlemen, if you struggle to stay focused, if you seem to quit too easily and struggle to accomplish your goals, well, you might be missing this important, tiny little aspect in your life. Let's check it out. Alright gentlemen, before we get started here, a little bit of housekeeping. If you are new around here, my man, welcome to Man Talk. This is where we focus on becoming kings by becoming more stylish, building a strong inner game, and surrounding ourselves with the most positive, happy, and healthy environment around us. And if you want to become a king, if you want to become an alpha male, then go down below and sauce me one of these bad boys and smash that little bitty subscribe button over there for me, and share this video with another man, and be sure to stick around until the end to find out how all alpha males accomplish their goals. Alright, housekeeping all done. Let's get to it. I recall being a very scared young man, trying to figure out where I was going in life, who I was, what I wanted to be. I had just gone through a really tough breakup, and I was trying to figure out how I was going to pay my rent, pass the biggest exam of my life, and figure out where I had gone wrong and why I felt so lonely. I looked around at my life and realized I didn't stand for anything. I had no goals and I had nothing to keep me in check when things got tough. And so I wandered around aimlessly for a little bit, and that is a story for another time. But through that wandering around aimlessly, I figured out who I was, what I wanted to do, and what I value. And so last week I spoke about happiness, and while it is something that we should want, it shouldn't be our priority, because it's something that ebbs and flows with whatever's going around in our environment or our surroundings. And instead we should focus on our integrity. But where does integrity come from, and how do we build it? And this is a very easy question to answer. We need to find what we value. We need to find something to keep us in line when everything around us starts to crumble. This way, when times get really tough and it's tempting to fall into something like the fake alpha trap, and if you don't know what that is, boom, right there, we can go back to what we value, and we can ground ourselves in that. We can ground ourselves in the things that we hold most important. And when we ground ourselves in our values, and when we focus on the things that we value, and we put those first and foremost, that is what keeps our integrity. And at some point, your life is gonna suck. Life is gonna be hard. But true men, real alpha males, aren't pulled left or pulled right by their emotions. They understand that they're important, and they acknowledge that they're there, but they ground themselves in something bigger than themselves, in something bigger than their emotions. We need to be guided by our values and our goals, not one-night flings and flashy objects that we can use for clout. Those types of things lead to empty lives, empty relationships, and anything but real happiness. And so when I was full of pain, and when I was full of sadness, and when I had no direction whatsoever, I built a list of values. I built a list of things that I stood for. And so when my life gets tough, when I question myself and I question my direction, I look at my values and I go through each single one, and I ask myself, am I in integrity with those? And if I am, I can hold my head up high through the shitstorm, through the pain, and through the sadness. And if I'm not in integrity with those values, then I can learn, I can grow, I can error correct myself back on the path to my goals, my accomplishments, and in the process, my integrity. Men are confused these days. Their masculinity is constantly in question. It is constantly being redefined. And I believe the feminization of men starts when we have nothing to stand for. We get trapped in this web of women and pornography and cars and drugs and all of these otherworldly pleasures. We can avoid more pain, heartache, and sadness than necessary if we can root ourselves in what we stand for and who we are as men. And so gentlemen, as a man, what do you stand for? What do you value? Man Talk. Stay handsome. listen here, buddy. The path to kingship does not stop after just one video, so check out some of these bad boys around here to get even more fantastically handsome.